How do I fix this? This is Samuel back at it again. This time it's my wife's Toyota Corolla. Kind of a rehash of an earlier problem with the ignition coils. Now we had one coat out, and I was specifically saying it was. Hold on, there's traffic. It specifically was saying that it was. I want to say bank 1, which is on the passenger side of the engine. And so we replaced that. Hey, everything was fine, cleared the code. But now we're having problems again where it's rough idling. And I got a funny feeling that it's maybe one or more of those coils is starting to go out. You got 4, okay? 1 for every cylinder. And in my opinion, you know, those ignition coils are known to not last for more than 12, 13 years. Usually when you start having issues with them, just because of the heat and they're just constantly being ran, you know, and so it's pretty common. So if you got one that goes, if you have the money, you might want to consider just go ahead and doing them all. Might as well do all your plugs too, spark plugs, and then do all the coils together. You know, it'll save you from having another headache of doing it, you know, a couple months down the road like I'm doing right now. But anyways, so let's get into it. All right, so this is my wife's Toyota Corolla. It's a 2010. It's 1.8 liter, and it has the dual cams in the motor. So it's got a little bit of pep to it. Dual VVTi. Anyways, to do this job, first thing is you're just going to pull this cover off. Okay, it just pulls up. That's all you got to do. All right. Set it to the side. Now you can see your motor. Okay. Now that's the ignition coil that I replaced on that one video. Okay, this is a few months back, maybe 6 months ago. And then here's your, you know, other coils here. So I'm not going to mess with this one. Well, actually I am going to replace the spark plug, so I need to take this one out as well. But I got 3 other new coils from I'll show you in a second. I got them from Kragen's because of the price, man. Napa's were like $120 a piece, which is kind of steep for me right now. And AutoZone, I don't like going to AutoZone. They just sell crap parts. I'm telling you, most of it's from China, and it doesn't last. I mean, they have lifetime warranties, but I don't want the headache of this, you know, going out a year from now and taking it back and taking it apart and getting me another one in there. So anyways, I went with O'Reilly's, and I'm going to show you. They're about $83 a piece, something like that. Some tools and stuff you're going to need for this job. I recommend a magnetic catch pan for your nuts and bolts, whatever. A pair of latex gloves, keep your hands clean, free from the oil and stuff. A 6-inch extension, 3/8 for a 3/8 ratchet, and you're going to need a 14mm deep socket to get those spark plugs in and out. Of course, your 3/8 ratchet, 10mm socket, regular size socket, and you're going to need this to take the bolts out for the ignition coils. You can, you know, if you want to open in wrench to do that, you could do that too. I have one here. I don't have the rubber boot in my 14mm socket. I believe you can buy them with a rubber boot in there for the spark plug, so it'll grip the spark plug and pull it right on out of the well. But if you don't have that, that's fine. You can get oh great, wind picked up. You can get a magnetic extension tool. It's just, this will telescope out about, 18 inches. And you could extract the spark plugs once they're loose from the wells with this. Not a problem. You're going to need some dielectric connector grease. You're going to apply that with Q-tip to your new ignition coils before you, connect those in. I would get a couple packets. You're going to need some anti-seize for your spark plugs, a little bit of anti-seize on there so they don't get stuck later on from the heat and whatnot. Okay, here's the O'Reilly brand, import direct, OE replacement parts. That means original equipment. Okay, so this is what you want to get. Now, here's the part number in case you need that. Give that to O'Reilly, and that's for a 2010 Toyota Corolla, 1.8 liter, and with the dual overhead cam on it. Hers is an automatic. I don't think that matters. Now, I got a 4-pack at Napa. I went to Napa for the spark plugs. And I got the iridiums, right? They're really good. You don't have to, excuse me, full of this box here. Well, anyway, here they are. Upside down. Laser iridium. Oh, there's the part number right there. Now, I got it in a 4-pack for like 60 bucks, which is not a bad deal. You know, they're like 50,000 mile plugs. So, and these you will not gap. Again, you will not gap these. Don't put a tool to try to gap this. It's already pre-gapped. If you try and gap this with a tool, you'll end up damaging it permanently. And so you don't want to do that. Okay? Alright, so let's start disconnecting these leads, these electric leads, these pigtails that come into each ignition coil. You know, I forgot to tell you, you might want to have a tool like this, just a regular pair of pliers, slip pliers, okay? And you're going to grab it where that tab is. There's a tab, okay? Let me show you. There's a tab that's kind of, you know, pushes in and out. You got to push down and pull, and just don't get too crazy with it, but just grip it kind of firm. Push that tab down and kind of wiggle it, and it should come loose. See? Look at that crap. Kind of dirty, huh? All right. So you're gonna do that with all of them. Bam, bam, bam. All right. That's the first step. Okay. Now I suggest removing this plastic piece right here. All right. And it kind of protects things. And it'll just kind of come apart in the middle here, so you don't have to take the whole thing off, just this part right in here, okay? And I believe, yeah, those just kind of clip in. You're gonna have to remove this seal a little bit here. Yeah, we'll have to remove the seal. It's okay, it's not a big deal. And you're gonna come, and there's these little clips, okay? Underneath the bottom, you're gonna pinch and push up, and they come out. It's not too bad. Okay, you're just gonna remove this seal back out of your way, and then you could pull this off. Disconnect it. It clips in a couple places. Okay, just set that to the side as well. Reason why is because it's gonna open up more room to get your extension and your ratchet in there, okay, without bumping that piece. So I suggest doing that. You don't have to, but I think it makes it easier. Okay, now we want to get a 10 millimeter socket, regular socket on our extension there, and just disconnect all these 10 millimeter bolts, okay, so we can pull those coils out. And I went ahead and marked my good coil from that previous video, and I just wrote on there good Napa, because it's a Napa brand. I just like to know for future reference, you know, see how long it lasts, whatever. It should be good. Napa has great electronic products for your car, just as good as the dealer. And anyway, and then these three I'm gonna pull and just toss them, because I already got those 3 new ones. Okay, these are all disconnected, right? Remember? Now, all these bolts are removed. I got them in my pan. These will just pull right on out. Sometimes they give you a little trouble, but they'll pull out. Bam. Okay, there you go. There's my good Napa one I put in about 5-6 months ago. All right. And there's a spring. You can see it, but there's coiled spring down in there that rests. That's what rests on top of the spark plug. So you want to put some of that dielectric grease with a Q-tip on that spring down in that well there, okay? And I also like to put some on my connectors, the pin connectors there. There's 4 of them, metal pin connectors. Put some of that dielectric grease on there a little bit. Don't get too crazy with it. Just put a little, you know. It'll help it have a good connection for a long time and save you for some problems there. Of course, I don't know if you can see, but yeah, your spark plug's way down in. Oh, I guess you can see, huh? See it? Bam, right down in there. And that's a 14 millimeter, okay, just so you know. And the best socket, of course, is with the rubber, an actual spark plug deep well socket. Has a little rubber boot on the inside of it, which will grab that spark plug with your extension on your ratchet, and it'll just pull right out. I don't have that, and I'm not going to spend the money on it. I have a 14 millimeter long deep socket there that will work. It doesn't have the rubber, but it'll get it loose, and then I'll just extract it with a magnetic pickup tool, which will reach down in there no problem. Okay. All right, first spark plug taken out of the well with my magnetic pickup tool. And let me show you something. It looks good. Other than this crap, I think it looks like that might just be old. Yeah, it might just be old anti-seize on there. But look at the spark plug. See how it's just looks a little hot, you know, but it's not wet. You know, it's like you got that dry carbon on there. You know, that means your car is running like it's supposed to. Okay, this is normal, okay? Normal wear on a spark plug. But if you see, especially if it's wet, if you got wet oil on this anywhere, that means you got a blown ring. You got a ring that's worn, and there's oil getting by in your piston and getting into the spark plug well. So it's comforting. I'm glad that it doesn't look that way. And so you want to check all of them. Okay, check all your spark plugs just to get an idea of what's going on in your engine. And like I said, if you see anything that's wet, that means you got a ring that's worn, and that's going to give you problems. And at that point, you probably want to get your engine rebuilt, some new rings. Put your anti-seize compound right in the middle, and then you'll spread it around from there. Make sure you keep away from getting that anti-seize, you know, at the end where the tip is. Keep it away from that. You don't need it all the way down to the very end. It should look like this when you're done. Like I said, stay away from the very end. You don't want to get that crap in there. You could foul it up. Okay, it's all you need. Just like that. Okay, again, these are pre-gapped spark plugs, so you do not gap them. If you do, you will run it. Okay, so it's already ready to go. You just put the anti-seize on there like I showed you. You get your, you put it back on that end of the magnetic pickup tool, and you just carefully put it back down in the well, and you just turn the magnetic tool real slowly and gently, and it'll start the threads on it. And then you could pull the magnetic tool off of it, and now you can get your extension and go in here, and make sure you do it by hand. Okay, you can cross thread these real easy, so do it by hand. Make sure it's going in real easy, threading in real easy. If it starts to get really hard, like right away, then it's not lined up right, and you're going to cross thread it. You could damage the actual threads in the well there, and you'll have a lot of problems. It could be very costly trying to repair that. This is going nice and easy. As soon as it, you know, stops, then I'll, bam, it's getting close. Right there. Right there. Okay, now at that point, I'll put on my ratchet, and it says to go 1/16 to a half turn. Okay, hold on a second here. All right. Put my ratchet on here. Okay, so it's 1/16 to a half. So a full turn would be all the way back around to here again, right? So a half turn is going to be facing this way. The handle is going to be facing this way. In between that point and maybe right in here. That's all you need, okay? That's all you need to tighten it. Hold on. All right, now it's time for the ignition coil to go down in there. Got my spark plug tightened in. I use this dielectric grease on a Q-tip, and I applied some on those pin connectors. Those 4 of them right there. You see those metal pin connectors? Okay, kind of grease those up a little, and then I put some down on the well, down into that spring. Okay. Okay, first spark plug and coil done for the #1 cylinder. I did remove this clip. By the way, it might get in your way with your socket. It might make it easier. Don't forget, when you get through tightening this up, and again, don't over tighten these. Or just snug them up real good, but don't crank on them. Just maybe like a 6. Once it gets tight, go a 1/16 of a turn. That's all you need. And then make sure you put that back on and connect your connector back in. You know what? I might put some. No, I already did put the grease on that, right inside those pins. Never mind. I don't need it. Bam, locks in. Okay, that one's done. You're gonna do them all the same way. I'm not gonna bore you with making this video too long. Okay, they're all done the same way. When you get done, you're good to go. And when I get done, I'll start up the car and let it run and show you. Okay, turn it on.
So far, so good. I would have to drive it around.
Idling smooth. Sounds good. Got everything put back together, all the plastic. There you go. That's how it's done.